One cool organization that I've been doing a lot of work with is the Youth Climate Strike movement. I randomly met some cool folks there, young kids that are doing some extraordinary things when it comes to global warming and climate change and making sure that their voices are heard. What are your thoughts as far as the youth movement when it comes to discussions about climate change?
Well, I think this is one of the most important things that can happen in our country right now because young people get it and they care. And the conversation about climate change is really a conversation about our future.
Yeah.
You know, we'll be okay for the next year or two, right? Maybe another 10 years. But by the time these young people are looking for jobs and starting families and thinking about their futures, climate change is going to be here. It's already here, but by then it's going to be a really big deal.
One of the things that's been on the table is the Green New Deal, right? What are your thoughts about that? And do you think it's realistic? And do you think it would actually set a precedence for change when it comes to climate discussion?
I think the Green New Deal is a great start. You know, it's not a laundry list of how to fix everything, right? But it's a direction we need to be going in, and it's a set of goals that, quite frankly, we got to aim for.
Climate change is something that's definitely real. Scientists like yourself, myself, everybody's done research and studies on it. Why do you think when it comes to government and initiation and policies, why there's such a pushback on making more involvement into climate change?
Well, at the end of the day, I hate to say it, but it's just money. People look at those fossil fuels as buried treasure, and
exactly.
they're gonna dig it up. Our economy and our productivity and stuff right now depends heavily on fossil fuels. And if we want to change that, it's going to take a lot of work. If you have the option of doing a whole bunch of work or keeping things the same and getting a whole bunch of money, it's hard to make the tough choice.
There's been so much talk right now as far as electric vehicles and this big buzz, like we're getting more electric vehicles, and they're making it seem like it's this new technology. Electric vehicles have been around for hundreds of years. Like, I believe the first electric vehicle was in the 1800s.
Yeah.
When the vehicles that really were first went into production were actually electric vehicles.
Right.
And it wasn't until, I believe, like the Model T with Ford, when they find like, oh, we got to get cheap crude oil from Texas, and we can mass produce these cars, and it's going to cost us way less than making this battery. That's when the whole transition, I believe, in the early 1900s went to just now we're doing fossil fuels and gas powered cars.
We're just kind of married to the idea and the convenience, and it's also, we have a system for fossil fuel cars. We have gas stations all over the country. Electric cars have been around forever. We've been doing that stuff forever, and honestly, in a lot of ways, they're more efficient and more fun to drive. Somebody that has an electric car.
Whipping my Tesla around.
Exactly.
Not yet, so it's coming.
Right.
When I get it, I'll be whipping it around for sure. A big thing that's been going on is like the bleaching of the coral reefs. Could you talk to people about exactly how climate change is affecting the bleaching and what that bleaching is?
To make fuel, we dig up oil or coal or natural gas, and we burn it. That carbon goes into the atmosphere, and it stays in the atmosphere, most of it, for up to 1,000 years. But some part of it, about 1/3 of it, actually goes into the ocean. The carbon dioxide makes them more acidic. It changes the chemistry of the ocean, and a lot of little critters, they take compounds out of the water and they make shell out of them. When the water gets more acidic, then it gets harder for them to do that. So they can't make these shells, and in some cases their shells, the little homes that they live in, actually start to dissolve. Coral tends to want to live at a very specific temperature of water. So coral is actually a couple different organisms living in harmony together. There's a little phytoplankton, and then there's the kind of structure. When the water gets too hot, essentially those little guys leave, and what's left is kind of the naked white skeleton of the coral. So
it's the term, that's the bleaching term.
Bleaching, right. Exactly.
All right, so there's a second question. Okay, this singer in her NASA entitled song stated, "I'm the universe and you be my NASA. I'ma need some space." Okay. So the song was entitled NASA. Okay. I feel like you should know. You should know any song that's called NASA.
You're right.
Working at NASA. All right. So these are your options. Singer. Okay. Was it A, Ariana Grande, B, Mariah Carey, C, SZA, or D, Janae Aik? Song was called NASA.
Song was called NASA.
The verse was, I'm the universe and you be my NASA. I'm gonna need some space.
I feel like I
get
heard
the play
it.
on words there. You be my NASA. I'm gonna need
beautiful.
some space.
That's amazing.
Right.
I love it. I'm gonna go with C.
C, SZA?
SZA. No.
Yeah. That was a good guess. It was a good guess, because
Okay.
that would have been my guess too.
Yeah.
I was like, SZA has this nice play on words for her
Right.
songs, very lyrical. But the answer is not SZA. The answer is Ariana Grande.